Now, mandatory random COVID-19 testing resumed at Canada's 4 major airports, including Pearson International this week, as travelers still struggle to deal with flight delays, cancellations, and now baggage issues. Joining me live now is the Federal Transport Minister, Omar Alghabra, to discuss why issues continue and when we could see some relief. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Tammie. It's good to be back with you on Breakfast Television.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And I'll start with that question. Do you have a timeline as to when regular operations at some of Canada's largest airports can expect to be resumed to a level where people can travel in and out like they used to pre-pandemic?
Tammie, let me try to set the table here for you and for your viewers. During the pandemic, as you recall, the aviation sector lost most of its business, a significant chunk of its business. And many airlines and airports ended up having significant layoffs. And then when things started opening back up again, people, of course, understandably were excited and ready to travel again. And we saw travel from March of this year to June of this year jump by 300%. So what we saw is that there's an ongoing imbalance between the demand and the supply. There's a surge in demand while airports and airlines are trying to catch up with rehiring people or hiring new people to catch up with this surge in demand. And this imbalance is creating several congestions, particularly at busier airports. So we as a government have been working with airlines and airports to address these issues. This is an important issue for us. We want to make sure that travelers have a safe and enjoyable experience. We at the government have been hiring significantly for screening agents for CBSA. We've also lifted some bottlenecks that may have existed before. So I just want to be clear, the random testings are not returning to airports. Random testings are no longer at airports. So individuals who are randomly selected for a test will receive an email, and then an appointment is done with them off the airport premises. So they either do it virtually or at a pharmacy. And we've done other things like that where we've lifted any potential bottlenecks, and we're working through these kinks to make sure that we return to normal, as you said. I'm seeing positive improvements over the last few weeks, but there's still more work to be done. And we continue to work with airports and airlines to stress the importance of adding more resources and identifying bottlenecks to work through them.
Now, there was a recent Ipsos Reid poll that shows that 70% of Canadians now consider the situation at Canadian airports an embarrassment worldwide. We have another 60% of respondents that say that they're going to be avoiding flying in and out of Canadian airports because of the delays and cancellations. What is your reaction to that now, knowing that the majority of Canadians polled really consider this an embarrassment?
Tammie, I kind of share their frustration. It is unfortunately that we're witnessing. It's unfortunate that we're witnessing these congestions these days, but we are seeing this at airports around the world. Many airports and airlines have had to deal with the same surge in demand and lack of labor, but that doesn't necessarily offer me any comfort. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that Canadian travelers are able to travel peacefully and enjoyably. So it is something that is serious and that we need to do everything we can to work on it. I don't want Canadians to change their travel plans, honestly, unless for their own personal reasons. So it is something that I am personally focused on, my colleagues in the government focused on, my colleagues in the airline sector and airports are focused on. So we're working our way through this. We're seeing improvements. For example, couple of weeks ago, we had a larger number of cancellations. Today, it's less than 3% of flight cancellations. We still have some delays that we need to address, but things are getting better. And I want Canadians to know that their government is focused on this, and we're going to continue to do everything we can to address this.
And quickly, Minister, I'm just going to circle back to my first question. Is there an estimated timeline for when regular operations will resume and people can go to the airport without expecting these long lines?
Tammie, one of the things that COVID has taught me is to be very cautious about making predictions. I guess my commitment to you and to your viewers is that things are getting better, and I am confident that in the coming weeks, things will continue to get better.
Okay, again, that is Minister Omar Alghabra, the federal transport minister, joining us here on BT. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.